What's up, homies? Welcome back to Agents After Hours. Our podcast is for agents who want to talk about the parts of this industry that no one usually wants to admit out loud.
We are Erika
And Paige.
and we're here to bring you unfiltered, unapologetically honest real estate talk. So pour a drink, take a breath, and let's dive in, baby.
We are finally doing it. It's been such a long time. We're bringing back Am I the Asshole?
Yeah, you guys said you really liked it, and so we just forget to do it because we have so much to talk about.
We do. And last episode, we talked about wanting our own, Michiana Am I the Asshole Real Estate Edition, or introducing a new segment called Judge Judy, or adding stories to our Triggered. So we need your stories other than just ones we find on Reddit.
Yeah, because
They'll do for now.
Believe it or not a lot of people go to Reddit to talk about real estate.
I saw something on there from 4 years ago, and I'm like, different laws now.
Yeah, it doesn't even apply. It's not even applicable.
Nope. So let's get into it. Erika, you want to kick us off?
Okay, I'm going to go with the one I have pulled up.
Woo-hoo.
So this one says, okay, full disclosure.
Get my notepad.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I need to take notes too. But also keep in mind, I have not read this. So I've read a couple of them, but Paige told me I needed a third one. So this one I have not read. And I was taken aback by the title. Okay. My buyers got the deal of a lifetime and are acting like ungrateful a-holes.
Assholes is what she means.
Okay. I'm just venting here in hopes others can cheer me up with similar experiences. My buyers and I own condo units in a large full-service condo high-rise in VHCOL City. Don't know what that is. You should look that up. This is a very nice building in a world-famous location. Not the nicest building in the zip code, but enviable for sure. Units range from $600K to $2 million. I met these buyers 2 years ago when they came to one of my listings in the building. We got to know each other, and then they made a joke of an offer, which my seller and I couldn't take seriously. Nothing came of that. Fast forwarding here. Last month, a unit in the building was under contract, had their deal fall apart. They dropped a price to a shockingly low number to move it quickly. We went to go look at it, and they demanded to make an offer that any reasonable person would be insulted by, 20% below list, when the property is already listed at a very low number. Of course, the listing agent called and chewed me out, angry he had to present it, sellers were pissed, blah, blah, blah. Eventually, I got my buyers up to a number that I deemed acceptable to present, still too low, but only because I was willing to cut my commission request to the seller, which made the offer seem sort of acceptable. After a week of fine-tuning the terms, the sellers accepted our deal, and I woke up to an acceptance today. We went to the unit today, and my buyers couldn't stop saying awful, terrible things about the sellers for no reason. I was so effing livid that these people were so ungrateful, not to mention the stress I've gone through the past week. They were able to take advantage of the seller's situation to buy the property below market value, and the husband did nothing but complain when they were beyond lucky to get it for this price. I wanted to throw him off the balcony. Anyway, tell me stories about your asshole clients that were memorable.
Are you triggered?
I am triggered by this asshole of a real estate agent.
Ooh. This is going to be a fun one.
I am triggered by this man. Well, I don't know that he's a man. I shouldn't assume. Do you want to start? I feel like you have lots of thoughts.
And the agent did start saying that this was a fence sesh. So probably not at all how he presented himself to the client. Because I am living a real life situation with buyers like that, I could feel his frustration. That's why I was like, interesting. Because you're mad at the agent, and I'm like,
So I also have situations where I have clients that want to lowball. If I don't want to write the offer, then don't write it. Pass them off to someone else. If you don't want to write a lowball offer, then don't. Why is the listing agent chewing you out instead of simply saying, maybe we have a different dynamic here. I think I would go about this in a way that's like, hey, I know that this is low. We're starting. Let's play ball. I don't think an agent's going to chew me out over it. I've had agents say things along the lines of like, I don't even want to present this. This is terrible. It's not my offer. Take your emotions out of it. Take them out of it.
Okay, so I would agree that the way that he explain, like, obviously expectations were not set or conversations were not had or maybe not communicated in a way that the buyer retained it. Because I do agree. Like, if it's a lowball offer and I think my client is offering insanely low and the house is already underpriced and they're not listening to me, I will say, like, hey guys, like, this is already underpriced according to the market. Like, you understand that? They're like, oh, well, all of this stuff, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, I get that. But like what the market is saying, those things are still worth what this house is. Like, again, having a conversation. But then, like, if they get it at such a good deal and they've admitted that it's like, they're like, okay, yeah, we got it for a good deal. And then they continue to bitch, like, that would be frustrating. But the chewing out for a lowball offer, that does happen. I've been chewed out, and recently an agent at Brickbuilt has as well. And she wanted to report this agent for an ethics violation because of the horrendous things he said to her. So it does happen. It's crazy. But like, it was fueled by all emotions.
It's all emotional. I think it's wild to get, I receive lowball offers on my listings, and it's like, I'll run it by him, but we're not going to do this. I'm handling it mostly verbally at that point. But I also think it's very frustrating I'm frustrated with this agent because I don't feel like he or she, I don't know. I guess I don't like the delivery of the
deliveries. Yeah, the delivery's bad. I think their feelings are valid, especially if he knows. Because if, like, okay, so I'm trying to think of a typical Granger house, nice, like typical Granger house in a good school. Those are usually between $400 and $500. Like, if you're going to a modest Granger house that's just like not the top of the top, but not like bottom of the bottom, you're looking at $400,000 or $500,000. So say right on the money's $450,000. We're gonna go right in the middle, and the house is listed for $350,000 because of the situation. I'm telling my buyer, like, you're getting a steal. Like, you understand? Like, I get that $350,000 is a lot, but like, you're walking into so much equity, and that in this situation, the appraisal is going to probably show that if he's right. Now, what's going to be embarrassing is if he has thrown a temper tantrum or had that same energy towards his client, and then the appraisal comes back right at purchase price. I think that that's going to be a bit embarrassing of that agent. But if the appraisal comes back and it's like $100,000 over what they're paying for it, I mean, your client's going to get equity. But sometimes clients just need to understand, like, they need to feel it firsthand. Or like clients that lowball, they might sometimes have to lose out on a couple before they realize that you can't lowball everything. I feel like it's all, like you said, delivery on the way that they do that. But one of the biggest complaints I have is that clients already have a lot of emotions. While this is our job, this is their lively, like, this is their life. This is their real life. They have tons of emotions. This process is emotional. Us as agents are supposed to be the filter for that. Like, yes, it's frustrating. Yes, you need people to vent to, but at the end of the day, we are the filter of all of those emotions. And if you are meeting other agents with that same emotion and you're meeting your clients with that emotion, you need to get out. I'm sorry. Like, in the kindest, like, if you can't handle stress, there's no point for you to be in this business. Point blank.
A couple of things. No, you're fine. My gut reaction to this, I still stand by. It's like, I think he's an asshole. I think the realtor's an asshole. I have situations where I do get frustrated because I don't want to lowball, and I've had clients miss out on this house because we can't get to a thing. That's one of those situations where I have to decide if it's going to align well with me. But he's at a very high price point, so he's getting a very fat check.
And I cut my commission all the time to make a deal go through. Obviously, I have a bottom, but
my thing is, he's like name calling his clients on the internet, which he's not dropping their names. I felt like the line where he said a number that I deemed acceptable seems very arrogant to me, because you can provide the stats, you can provide the market value, you can do all the things, but it is not up to you. So saying that you got them to a number that you felt was acceptable, to me, that seems arrogant in my opinion. And taking this from a client's perspective, I do also try to think about this with my own clients when I get triggered and frustrated, because I'm like, are we really going to lose this house for the second time? I get annoyed. I also don't go to the internet and I'm not calling them names. I'm just kind of like, okay, how can I think about this from their point of view? When you go to the store and you get something really, really nice, you get a new robot vacuum, and they're like, oh my God, it's on sale for $299. You feel good about that. You're going to the store looking for deals to find something that you feel good about buying. And that's a $200, $300 vacuum. These people are spending $600,000 to $2 million. They need to feel good about their purchase. Well, I think that you need to educate your people, kind of prepare them for what's to come. But I don't know. I don't like a.
I think his delivery, I think like if that was something you and I, like if we were explaining this story, I would be more like, hey, so I have these clients and this house is already so overpriced or so underpriced. Like it's a great deal for this house and my clients want to come in so much lower. And like, I'm going to submit it. I'm going to do it. All right. I submitted it. Fucking agent yelled at me. They yelled at screamed at me. Yeah, it's a low offer. It sucks. I understand. Like my tone would be so different when presenting this story if it were me. So I think his tone, yeah, he probably is an asshole in real life, but I don't think that him feeling frustrated. I think that's a frustrating situation. Frustration is a very normal feeling. But like I said last episode, frustration is a normal feeling. How you handle it is what actually is what matters. And he's handling it poorly.
His post rubbed me the wrong way, even as someone who is currently going through it.
Yeah. No, I agree.
It rubbed me the wrong. Okay.
But something that you said that I want to reference real quick is, did you watch Selling Manhattan? Have you watched it all?
Yeah.
Okay, so on there, Ryan did like a this weekend only, like reduced price, like blah, he did like a sale thing like that. I think it didn't work out for him, I don't think, but I think that's a really cool concept. But I don't know how it would be cool if it worked. But I think that it's really cool that he came up with like a creative idea. That's all.
I don't know if you read any of his books, but he talks about some things that he did in his books that were crazy, or like how they did the musical. There was another one where he was trying to get like a penthouse or something sold. He made a music video in there. It was just like, he's very creative, but they're in a whole different area, which I don't understand why we couldn't bring some things here on like a micro level, but.
Oh, we for sure can. Some of the things that he talks about, he has a lot of ideas that I'm like, okay, I've asked chat, like, how can I put this on a micro level? Like, let's reduce this down. We're not in New York City. We're in fucking South Bend, Indiana. Like, I mean, what can I do that's similar or is similar actions, but obviously for $250,000 average home price, $250 million. But, okay, so mine is fucking long. I also didn't read this, but this is long as hell. All right. Oh, I remember. I did read this one. Okay. I, 36 male, have a fully paid off house. I inherited it 5 years ago from my uncle. He was actually my father's friend, and I called him uncle. I knew him since I was born, and he was one of the people I admired most in the world. He worked a hard job and lived on his own terms. I asked him once when I was little how come he wasn't married to a nice lady. He looked at my dad and said he liked men, not ladies. My dad didn't say anything, so I asked how come he didn't marry my dad then, since they liked each other. I still remember my dad laughing while beer poured out of his nose. My mom found the story hilarious when my dad told her. So obviously he was gay, uncle was gay, dad was not. So my uncle passed away in an accident and left everything to me. I'm set for life. It says I'm set up for life, but then the next line says I can't afford not to work. He wasn't rich, but I have no debts while working at the job I love and it's fulfilling. So my guess is that he has a house paid for. He's good. The house he lives in is a bungalow in an older neighborhood. His uncle kept it fantastic shape and it was built in 1953. It's dated. I don't care. It is free and clear and my yard is massive. I have a garden that takes up the back corner and is bigger than most of my friends' house, entire backyards, and I have a heated double detached garage with a workshop and all the tools I will ever need. In short, I'm covered for my housing needs and I'm happy. The poop in the punch hole is my in-laws. Every time they come over, they complain about my house like I'm on a TV show for fixer-uppers. They judge everything, the color of the tub, the floors, their original narrow hardwood slats. Basically, every single thing you see people on renovation show change, cover, or rip up. By contrast, my wife and I are happy. We can afford to take vacations without going into debt. We don't have a mortgage, so we can afford to replace our cars when the time comes. We are funding our retirement account at a decent rate. I'm not trying to humble brag. I'm bragging. I miss my uncle very much, but I'm in a good position in life because of him. Another issue is that due to the housing crisis, my city has rezoned all the older neighborhoods for high-density infills. Every single house that sells here is torn down and they put up duplexes, fourplexes, eightplexes, skinny houses, and gaudy McMansions. I know if I ever sell it, it isn't going to be a starter home for some young family. They won't be able to afford it. I've explained this to my in-laws constantly. They just don't get it. Her brother does real estate and keeps going on about all the upgrades we should do, like putting in a new kitchen. Her parents take it as a personal failing that we aren't in debt for paying for renovations or additions. They all live in big houses with mortgages that all three of them pay because they need a big new house. It's beautiful, but their utilities are like $1,600 a month, and that's insane. They were over yesterday and got on us again. I told them that their opinions on our living situation didn't matter. My wife joined in on my side and told them to drop it because this is our home where we will raise our kids. She's a ride or die. Go wifey. They all got huffy and said that they just want the best for us. I responded that I would be willing to do whatever renovations they saw fit if they paid for them. No strings attached. They backpedaled and said we needed to pay for the stuff that they want in our house. And I just laughed and said no. They're upset that we aren't taking their wishes for us into consideration. Am I the asshole for telling them I don't care about their opinions on our house? They would come in, I'd be like, you can leave, bitch.
No. First of all, why do they have such strong opinions about where they live at? Okay, first of all, who gets gifted a whole house? Free and clear, no mortgage. Also, who has such big opinions about where someone lives? I wonder if they are like nervous about. Okay, this is me playing devil's advocate. I wonder if the poster, maybe to him it feels way bigger than like the comments that they're making. Maybe they could just be like, hey, if you did this, this would really up your value. Like they're doing all this in the neighborhood. You might want to do this. You never know. But it's crazy for me to even wrap my head around someone's in-laws having such a big opinion about them not renovating their house.
It's probably because it makes them uncomfortable. It makes me wonder if like the in-laws are very snooty. But obviously they live in a big house and they pay so much money. I'm wondering if the daughter was probably, the wife, was probably raised very wealthy and all the nicest things, and now she's living in a home that does not match what she was raised in or what her parents, like, I don't get me wrong, like, if I walked into a house like that, I would think of all the cool ideas that I could do, and I would say, like, you gonna do anything with this? Like, this would be really cool. And if they're like, no, I don't plan to, like, I have no desire to, and they gave me all of these reasons, which is probably shared to them in the very first conversation, I'd be like, all right, valid point, we're dropping it.
Also, with this economy and the way that things are looking, who knows if they're going to be able to retire. So the fact that they have this asset that they're talking about can fund their retirement, that's more important than their cabinets.
Right.
Or their carpet. Or
right.
You are not laying your head there, Susan.
Calm down.
Get out. No, they're not the asshole. That was a really long story to say what they said, but I'm really glad that the uncle left that to him. That's really cool because if I could get left anything by anybody, that'd be cool.
Right?
I'll take anything.
Give me it.
But also, my thought goes to they could renovate it, sell it, get the equity, buy something that they really. But at the same time, they're not going to be free and clear of a mortgage, so they need to really they need to take advantage of this.
Yeah, 100%. And if they want to do updates over time, like minor updates, great. But like, to go and do a whole kitchen when you're fine with your kitchen is stupid. Why are we doing updates when we don't care if they're updated or not? Like, if you decide after in a few years, you're like, all right, I don't like this avocado green bathtub. Okay, replace the bathtub. Like, you don't have to fix the whole bathroom. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can do what things bother you. It's your fucking house.
Plus, why don't we just meet up at your house instead? Because it sounds like it's bougie and you have a butler. So I'm coming over to your house instead.
Right. Amen.
Okay. Selling as is. Help me talk them out of it. Family members with a good house, dare I say, a better than good house. One spouse is logical and would like to put it on the market the traditional way. Do some make-ready fix-ups, agent, professional listing, wait 60 to 90 days, inspection, final negotiation, close, get your check. The other says they just want to sell it as is, no inspection, do nothing to it. You get the picture. The house is 20 years old and in great shape. I fear that the as-is option will dramatically reduce the value because people will assume foundation or something else really bad. And with the smaller pool of people willing to buy as it is, it should take longer. I have some assumptions on as-is. How valid are these? Does anyone have data from research to back these up and to back up these situations? These are his assumptions. A 20% lower price, twice as long on the market, still have to negotiate the final price, still need an agent. They're in their late 80s and not very mobile, so this is not a FISBO situation. Does this sound right? Am I missing anything? This was in the Am I the Asshole section, but it's not really, I guess, an Am I the Asshole? And I would like to say this is where I think it becomes very important to educate sellers on what as is means.
As is I want to preface this, as is in Indiana is more than likely different than what as is means can mean different things to different people.
So I think you need to get very clear on what it is in your own state. In Indiana, a buyer can still get an inspection. There's an as is addendum that gives them a specific amount of time to get all their inspections done. And if they find anything unsatisfactory that was not disclosed, then they can terminate the contract. It's probably like the easiest out for a buyer, in my opinion, in a contract. They don't have to give the seller any chance to fix it. So when I work with a seller that says, I just want to sell this as is, I want to make sure that they understand what does that mean.
Yes. Like, are you okay with the buyer doing inspections? And if you are, if there's a repair that's like $2,000, are you okay with them walking over $2,000 that they don't have, but you may have that you're willing to pay? What is the end goal? I think that that's important with asking questions. Also, I think it helps when you're selling something as is if you explain that. Selling as is, couple is older, does not have time, money, energy to make repairs, blah, 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 blah. Not that, I mean, when people just put as is, I think that they immediately do think foundation or something crazy, but a lot of times it's just because someone just doesn't want to make the repairs. They don't want to spend money on the repairs. They don't want to deal with setting up the repairs. They don't want to do any of that shit. They're just would rather you offer on the house what you want to pay for it with whatever work is needed.
When I see something that says selling as is, I'm telling my FHA people this might not be a good fit because unless you have the extra cash to do your own repairs. Because sometimes they will say FHA, but they will not do repairs, which, whatever. The buyers can do them. It doesn't matter who does them, I suppose. But my first thought is like, yeah, they don't have the money or they don't have the time. My mind doesn't immediately go to the house is trash. Mine doesn't.
Yeah, mine doesn't either. Mine doesn't even go where there might be a ton of repairs needed. Mine usually goes to lack of wanting to make repairs. But I think that's because that's been my experience with that. But now if my experience is where every time I saw as is, it was like foundation is crumbling, my perspective might be different.
That's fair. That's valid.
Like lower house prices, like 100,000 selling as is. Okay, there's some damage in there, but like 450 as is, probably not.
Well, even so, like they're saying that they think that it's going to sit on the market twice as long. I don't necessarily think that because if I see that and my buyer really likes the house, I'm like, okay, we could try it. Let's try it. Let's go see what's going on with it. I guess I haven't paid attention to that.
I'd be curious of the data too.
Yeah, I would be curious to see that, or like if they do sell lower.
Yeah.
Or why don't you put something, maybe what you could do if you can't meet in the middle, and this is what I've done with my clients, is the seller prefers to sell it as is. If they get an as is addendum, then we do great. I don't think you need to talk them out of it unless you can, unless there's like a valid reason. So make sure you know what it means in your state.
Yeah. And make sure you're getting to the bottom line. Like, why does your client want to sell as is? Like, is it because they're older and they're 80 years old and they just don't have the bandwidth to take that on? Or is it because they know that their house is crumbling and they're hiding something? Like, what is the problem here?
Yeah, because you don't want to get in the mix of all of that.
Right.
I don't, even with my sellers, I don't talk them out of it per se, but I do tell them my feelings on it, and I say, hey, you're kind of giving away all your power here. So if you're cool with that, I'm cool with that, but I just want to make sure you know.
Yeah, we educate, we don't decide. Like, I think we're not talking nobody out of anything. We're giving them all of the information to make an informed decision.
Right. You're going to know the ins and outs.
Mm-hmm. And you're going to know all the risks. All right. Am I the asshole for refusing to sell my house to a landlord? I bought a fixer-upper in my 20s with my now ex. I bought him out, but he agreed to give him back his portion of deposit he paid upon sale whenever that may be. We remain friends as if we've known each other since childhood. Regardless of that, I still plan to stick to my work 8 years later. Okay. I told him I was in the process of selling the house. He asked me if I had any offers, and I told him yeah, but from a few landlords. I don't think that needed further explanation because he knows full and well how I feel about landlords buying up starter homes in lower income areas and how strongly I felt about turning this house into a home for myself and the next occupants. He's absolutely furious at me for not going with a quick sale because he wants his measly $5,000 back now. I told him no way and tried to remind him of all the offers we made on starter homes that just got swept up by landlords. It was devastating, and we almost lost all hope of getting on the property ladder. None of them wanted this one because it needed so much work. He's blowing up my phone and told my parents, who are more gently telling me to just go for the easy sale, but I'm in no rush to move and want all my hard work to go to a family instead of someone's business. Am I the asshole? Edit. Giving him the $5,000 specifically from the sale has been discussed over messages many times in the past. If I give him $5,000 now, he could still say I owe him from the sale of the home. Getting him out was a nightmare, as he can be pretty nasty. Most of the time he's fine, but he suddenly switches and goes to war with people. I think it's cool that she's holding firm to that. I have been in a situation, especially during COVID, that I had first-time home buyers lose hope. Lots of people lost hope because investors were sweeping them up. And that is devastating. So if you work with first-time home buyers a lot, or you're at that price point and lost out, I feel it through and through. That was fuck, for the lack of better words. I think that I would pay him his $5,000 and put it in fucking writing that from the house sale that was $5,000, like I would let it go. Like if that, but I can understand him being frustrated. Again, feeling one way is one thing, how you act's another. I understand him being frustrated. He probably wants his money. He might be hurting for money. He just wants this over with. He wants to be done. Great. I understand. Got it. But if you don't care how long it takes to sell, you don't need to find another house. You're good. Why not honor your wishes and how you felt? Why not stay true to yourself? Money is going to make you change your thoughts on that. I don't know. That's my thoughts.
Okay. So I was a buyer in the time of this, and it really sucked. Not even at like a super low price point, they were still buying them up. People had all this cash, how God knows how. Well, I know how, but either way, it sucked. Yeah. So I do understand that. Yes, she has really strong feelings on it, so she needs to figure out her why. Why does she want to sell? Because she's saying that he moved out however long ago, but he wasn't even involved. He must not have been on the house because
right.
She said, I'm in the process of selling it. So he moved out with giving it up because it was hers, or that was for a down payment. Did she say?
I would assume the $5,000 was probably a down payment portion of the deposit he paid upon sale. So yeah, probably $5,000 towards the down payment.
Oh yeah, I definitely just called this. Okay, so my first initial gut thought when you were reading this was, is she just like being more petty, like trying to drag it out? But I didn't realize he moved out so long ago.
8 years ago.
Sounding like, yeah, so she's probably really over him. And so with that being said, I don't think she's the asshole. I think that she is standing by her beliefs, which I'm really glad for.
Proud of you, girl.
I wonder how he didn't know the house was for sale, because everybody looks at Zillow. Everybody no, I don't know. I feel like especially if it's your house, I think you would have known. But regardless.
Sounds like he's a little bipolar, so maybe he just is in his own world.
I don't know. Just give him his money back.
That's what I say. Like, be done with this asshole. 8 years, I would have found a way to give him his $5,000 long before that. Get out of my life.
Yeah.
The bite.
What would they even need to get in writing, though, if she's that's a courtesy of her doing?
Because he has messages and verbal agreements. I don't know. But at the same time, like, you'd have to take her to court. Like, he's going to take you to court.
If he's crying over $5,000, he's not taking her to court.
No, he's not. He hasn't got money for that. Crying over $5,000. It's money it's not out of your pocket. You know, if you're losing that money out of pocket, got it. But like, you're just being delayed to be given. And why are you banking on it? You didn't even know she was selling it. All of a sudden are you banking on it? Don't count your money before you have it, bro. The fuck?
Well, and especially if he knows how she feels so much about selling to a landlord. But then also, why is he calling her parents?
Yeah.
He's weird.
He is weird.
He is weird. Give him his money and you're not the asshole.
You're not the asshole. All right. We got time for one more. So Erika is going to finish us up.
Am I the asshole for pulling out of a house purchase? My husband and I made an offer on our first home back in June. It's a fixer-upper, and it isn't quite what we wanted, but it ticked the boxes. The vendor said they were eager to be gone. There was no chain. They were going to rent while they looked for a new place in their new city. They accepted our offer. We shook hands and hoped to be in by September. We started the process and everything was going well until after the survey when they couldn't produce all the necessary certificates. We started chasing with our solicitor every week. Nothing. I think that's like a probably an agent. When we explain that as we live in military quarters on an overflow arrangement, we can be evicted from our home with 30 days notice at any point. We explained our mortgage offer would expire soon. We explained that we have family visiting from abroad to help with childcare during the move, but they won't be here forever. We begged to close for the last week of October. They assured us via the estate agent it would happen, but our solicitor got nothing. Radio silence, no sale, they refused to close. Eventually, their solicitor told ours that they had entered a chain and there were issues further down the line. The seller didn't want to close on their house till it was resolved. They were stalling deliberately. We missed our October window. We had no recourse to make them follow through. My husband and I started looking again. On the day it was listed, we saw a house that suited our needs better, and we asked to view it. It was perfect. The price was the same. We made an offer. The buyer accepted, and we pulled out of the previous sale for this one. Suddenly, the original vendor seller is blowing up our solicitor's phone because we've wrecked the whole chain. They offered to close next week to keep the original sale, but we already agreed to buy this other property, which honestly works better for us. But I can't stop thinking about how many families we might have screwed with this. Are we the assholes?
So this feels like it's in a different country, for one, just based off of the words. Like solicitor, that's an agent. Vendor, that's the seller.
Mm-hmm.
Chain, that's what I think we refer to as like a domino.
Like a contingency type situation?
Contingent upon a contingency, especially since they said they didn't want to close until something was handled. My guess is that was inspections. Like the house that the sellers were purchasing, maybe there was repair issues there. But and that they didn't want to close until those repairs were done, which is going to affect the buyers that are writing on Reddit.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I'm understanding it. Is like it was a domino effect. But I mean, if you were hoping to be in September and now you're like end of October, sorry, should have got your shit together sooner or responded to your agent or the buyer's agent and had a conversation with them. Radio silence, and then you want some grace. I mean, fuck off.
Is it called hang on. I remember this from school and I want to make sure. Okay. The statute of frauds. Everything needs to be in writing, but okay, it's a different country.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're the asshole. I feel like they were getting screwed around and they really wanted the house. And if the seller would have moved a little bit faster or got their loose ends tied up and closed their loops, then they would be just fine. So I feel like the ball was in the seller's court, regardless of what that looked like in their chain. So I think that that's what happens when you enter into a chain. There's so many variables and moving parts, and it's really hard.
Absolutely. I can understand feeling bad for the family. I mean, I think that's a normal feeling. I think that empathy is, common. But at the end of the day, you can't inconvenience yourself or hurt yourself to help someone else. So if this other house is better for you and it makes more sense,
but also communicate. They said they ghosted them, so they probably had no idea if they were going to get the house or not, and that has to be really unsettling, especially when you can get kicked out of your house in 30 days.
I think it's very easy in real estate transactions for the people to stop looking at the other side as people. I think, and I don't know if that's because it's the agent and the way that they're translating it or whatever. I have to believe it's not, just because I feel like I set expectations and I've still had clients that are try to be frustrated at the other side or forget that they're people. But you got to understand, to me, if you're hard on your heart, you're set on a price. I feel like every buyer is going to try to negotiate. I think a compromise is when both parties are happy, not when one person is getting more than the other. But I also know that there are some sellers who are like, no, this is what I'm selling for. This is firm. Okay, have that conversation with the buyer's agent. Hey, I don't know what you're going to come in at, but I will let you know my seller is firm at this price. We've been down this road before. If they're coming under list, he's not going to take it. So I don't. If you want me to put this in writing so you can tell your client, I don't know how you want me to do this. This isn't tough negotiations. But that's, again, the kind of agent I am. I'm not trying to be hard in my negotiations. My seller's not willing to budge. End of story. I had a seller like that, and I had to be that transparent with permission. So I feel like communication goes a long way.
Yeah, it sounded like there was a hiccup with with their survey and they couldn't get the documents that they needed. Like, it is really, really hard. And the seller, who knows, because there is middlemen and there is agents, and maybe they
Yeah.
were in communication with their agent, but they didn't realize that the agent wasn't relaying the information to the other person.
Right.
You really don't know. But like you say, there's another person on the side of it, because sometimes when they're not seeing eye to eye on things, if the agents are not being neutral, it can be easy for them to get upset at the other party.
Yeah.
When it's
I
like,
agree.
it is negotiation. It's coming to an agreement between both people. So I just think that hopefully wherever they are, they put some practices into place to get things in writing for them to be valid, or at least their solicitor should have, could have. I'm sure they have some type. If they have a solicitor, they have some type of rules. They have to. Like,
They have to.
he could have
I don't think you
protected
have to
his
be
client.
licensed. You don't have to be licensed in other state.
So it's
I
all
remember.
just willy-nilly?
Yeah. Marky Lemon. Do you know who that is?
Huh?
She was at, I think it was Washington, D.C., but she was talking about, like, when buyer agencies came out, she was talking about how, like, we're over here fretting about getting paid and asking buyers for, like, to agree to pay us, but there are people that are making millions in other countries, and they don't have offer or, like, purchase agreements. They don't have anything in writing. They don't have to be licensed. They don't have any set standards, and they're finding a way to get paid. They're finding a way to make sure that their work is being compensated. So she was like, if they can do it, so can you. Don't use that. So, like, she referenced that before. So I'm assuming not every country requires you to be licensed or has, like, statewide forms, but then that makes sense. Other than obviously countries that fall under the National Association of Realtors. I feel like that's different.
Well, that's news to me. I didn't know that, but that's a little wild. I don't know that I would put that much trust in someone who doesn't have I mean, I guess if license isn't a thing, you don't know any better, but they were deemed not the asshole by Reddit. And
I agree.
And
yep.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, I hope you guys liked these Am I the Assholes. If you guys have opinions or thoughts, I feel like there's been a couple things that, playing devil's advocate, seeing both sides, we'd love to know your thoughts as well.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, that's what we got for you. Don't forget, we have an Amazon storefront now where you can buy some of our favorite things. There is a podcast, a list in there if you want to know some of the things that we've used to start our podcast. Links will be posted all over our social media, so you can't miss it.
You can't miss it. And also, Hustle Humbly has some great resources for your business this year. And if you need a little help kind of getting started, it's a really great time of the year to hone in. They have really great, like, systems classes and things like that. And at checkout, you can use the code After Hours to get $100 off.
Also, don't forget to follow us on social media, like all of them: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Literally follow us all. It's where we post, I don't know, fun videos, clips, things that make you laugh. I don't know.
They
Cute
take
things.
the best of the clips.
Yeah.
Also, we would love to hear some of your crazy real estate stories that we can add to Are You Triggered? Remember, Are You Triggered is a situation that you are in or have been in that just instantly triggered you and rubbed you the wrong way and made you fly off the handle before you didn't resonate with the hard C, or your own real estate life, selling with Shanna, or Am I the Asshole?
I love it. All right. Talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.